Yeah, man. I think it's crazy that people got to act this way just to get results.
Yeah.
I mean, but it goes to show you something. You can't ask for nothing. You got to take it.
Yeah, that's so true.
That's the way
That's
it works.
they always say that, especially with power. You know, if you want some type of if you want something, you gotta take it.
Yeah, you got to take it. There's no more asking.
Yeah.
You know, we shouldn't. You know, the fact that we have to ask to be treated equal is that's a problem within itself.
Yep. And it's funny though because like the people that say, oh, I want to ask you this. 'Cause I know you don't necessarily be on Facebook, but I know you might know some people that probably be on Facebook a lot and stuff. There was there was this video I saw of this woman, this black woman that went inside this crowd of people for the Black Lives Matter movement, and it was pushing for George Floyd and all this stuff. It was protesting against what happened, and she was saying like, "All of you are hypocrites, hypocrites. All of you, where are you in Chicago when all these black men shoot each other and stuff like that?" And then she was going on to say that, um, you know, black people die by black people the most and stuff. And I I commented down there because what I realized is when I was scrolling through all the comments and it was updating like every second, like literally every second.
Mhm.
It was only white people responding to that. Only, and it was thousands of comments. Only white people saying, "Yeah, there she go. They don't understand that black." And it's just I feel like people like her. I
Mhm.
get what she's trying to say.
Well, you talk about that. What's that chick? The Candace Owens chick? You know what you talking about?
Nah, it was some.
Okay.
It
Because
was
I
like
seen the
some
one with Candace
random.
Owens was saying something about, uh, I don't know. She said something crazy like, oh, white people get shot more by the police and black
Oh,
people are criminals and
yeah, that's
you know
stupid.
saying that same old thing. And she black.
Yeah, like I
Yeah.
can I can understand their perspectives on stuff, but to I feel like if you're going to voice a perspective, you need to understand the reason why your perspective is what it is. You know,
Mhm.
like meaning you have to understand if you're going to say, for example, like what she said, if you're going to say that, oh, black people kill each other the most, like you have to understand there was a lot of things in place that put it that way so it can stay like that. You know, and on top of that, the police antagonize and amongst other things and killing people that's not even resisting or anything like that, you know. And the funny thing is, I feel like the only reason that they're starting to say like, oh, the peaceful protest is because like they're showing a lot of videos of people
Yeah.
just sitting there and the cops are just like, no. I'm like, whoa, getting
Yeah.
mad aggressive.
Yeah.
So
Because it's becoming a situation where the police is having a hard time identifying uh, who's peaceful, who's right, who's just there to loot. You got three different types of people. You got the peaceful protesters, the rioters, and the loot. The peaceful protesters want to honor George Floyd's memory. They want to, uh, march. The rioters just want to see the world burn,
yeah,
and the looters is looking for opportunity to steal shit.
yep,
So, the funny thing is, the peaceful rioters, I mean, the peaceful protesters, um, they, I feel like they definitely, that's the way to go, but it's almost like you can't win because
yeah,
even when you peaceful protest, it's like it goes on deaf ears. It's like,
yeah.
oh, there they go, protesting
You
again.
can be ignored.
As long as it don't affect me, it don't affect me, so I don't care. What don't affect you, people don't care. You
Yep.
know what I'm saying? Most people don't care about the issues that's going on and outside of America unless they're from that country. They got friends from that country.
Yeah.
So if it don't affect you, you don't care. That's the same way with a lot of these suburban people that aren't black. They don't. It don't affect them, so they don't care. They just think it's a bunch of noise.
Yeah.
So of course, they want to prefer it to be a peaceful protest because that doesn't affect them. That means they can ignore it. It's they just peacefully out there just walking around. Okay, we can ignore them.
But yeah, I'll support you and don't do anything.
Yeah, we support you. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
You start tearing shit up, though. That's what I say. I mean, it's messed up, but that's the system that we have in place.
Like right now,
it's
like
necessary.
how things are going,
There's no such thing. One thing you have to realize: there's no such thing as a peaceful revolution. And what we're asking for is a revolution, but we're asking for it peacefully.
Yeah.
That's what they've been doing back in the civil rights era. Let's march. Let's walk around. We chill. Let's sing Negro spirituals and all of this. And what happened? They got beat up.
Yep. Got killed our leader. Like this
a revolution, Look at what the Civil War, right? That's a big example. They was like, what? Y'all about to end slavery? Hell no. Get your gun. We gonna have a revolution.
Like, no, fuck that. We ain't about to do this work.
I ain't about to be picking no cotton.
But the one thing,
because they knew. They knew. Ain't no compromise when it comes for a way of life.
Yeah.
You can't compromise your way of life.
Yep. Because you give a little, you need more.
Yeah. Yeah. There has to be bloodshed, unfortunately.
Because the one thing
let me just say this. Not saying that I agree with the rioters. Not saying I agree with the peaceful protests, but maybe the answer is somewhere in the middle.
Yeah.
Maybe the answer is not on either extreme. It's somewhere in the middle.
Yeah. I feel like this. I feel like there is no. I feel like all of it is working to the common place. All of it is working towards the common goal, and meaning the rioting, the protesting, the looting. All of it is working to a common goal because at the same time, it's like certain information register with different people at different times. So it's like some people can let it sink in, especially white people. It sinks in differently because, for one, they'll never understand our experience with anything. Like they'll say, like, oh well, you're just being loud and you just find an excuse to do stuff. It's like, no, if you actually experience these things for yourself, you will be doing the same exact thing. It's not even about race at that point. It's not even about it's just about living, like, to the bottom line, just like being able to live, not necessarily feeling frightened all the time, because I know for me, I could tell you, we could share, if you want to, probably like a story or so. Like, I got like two of them real quick, just about like some weird stuff that happened to me. Like the first one was when my friend, this first time, like I was really kicking it with him. We was drinking and then we smoking a little bit, and we went out. We was walking. It was like 11 o'clock at night, and there was this. I was lit, so but me, I'm hyper aware, so I'm like, I know how to keep my composure, keep myself together. My friend, he's hot-headed, and I didn't know that he's hot-headed while he'd be drinking and stuff like that. And he's not black, he's Puerto Rican. So in my mind, while I'm drinking and while I'm super intoxicated, I already know I can't be out here being dumb. Like, I'm walking, I'm calm. I was like, I gotta use the bathroom. I went to 5 different stores. They would not let me use their bathroom. So what I had to do was, I went around like this event, it was dirty as hell back there too. I went behind a dumpster and pissed. And some old white dude was like, hey, what are you doing back there? I'm like, I'm pissing. He's like, no, you can't do that. This is my neighborhood. You can't be doing this back out here. You coming all the way up here. Like, the stuff that he was saying, I'm like, wow, this stuff escalates extremely quickly. He said,
yeah, you see how the Karens.
This was not now. This was like 3 years ago. He started saying, like, you can't be doing this in my neighborhood. Y'all coming up here and you tearing up, terrorizing the neighborhood. I'm like, I just kept walking. I just kept walking because my friend, I'm aware like he's hot headed, and then I see he's like, yo, bro, I got a knife on me. I'm like, bro, calm down.
What?
Calm down. It's because like he doesn't his his resistance. He just goes violent, and he think that it's justified because somebody is antagonizing. Even though that may be true, but you can't do that, especially if you black, because they will immediately not look at the facts. They will look at what that person said and what happened. You know, so this is the wild thing. This is the wild thing that got me. I kept walking. He looked across the street and he was following us with a dog. He was like kind of jogging and trying to catch up with us. He yelled at these three white teenagers. I'm 21 at this point. I just turned 21. I'm 25 now. Just turned 21. He was like, yeah. He went over to them and said, like, yeah, they're over here messing up the neighborhood and they're bothering me and stuff like that. And I'm just sitting there like, what the fuck is he doing? And then what they did was this entitled white dude said to me, it was a teenager. He was like, hey, he got so big, like his ego inflated to another level. And like in my head, I was like, I'm about to knock him the fuck out. That was my instant reaction because they hopped in front of us while we were walking. And I was like, first of all, let's all calm down. Because it was funny. He was still yelling all this crazy stuff to my face. And my friend was just sitting there just quiet, just looking with a knife in his hand. And I'm just like, like, yo, let's
going to jail. You put yourself in those situations?
Yeah.
The police gonna instantly look at you like,
yep. So, and the funny thing is, I don't think they've ever come across like a person, like a black dude like me before, where I was just sitting there calm while they yelling at me, like getting wild, like trying to jump us. And I'm like, hey, I live in this neighborhood too. I don't like people terrorizing and stuff. I tried to go, and the fucked up thing is, in that case, I had to explain myself. That's the thing that really, really aggravated me, is because I was minding my business and I had to explain myself to some dude who inserted himself into something that had nothing to do with him.
Let me ask you this, though.
Huh?
Let me ask you this. Did he drop the N-word on you?
Nah. He was yelling.
Right. I had to
He was, because the funny thing is, I kept saying, like, this is the funny thing. I was like, he kept trying to say, like, yo, what are y'all doing out here and stuff like that out this day? And you messing up. I'm like, nobody, like, hey, bro, I tried to use the bathroom. No bathrooms are open. He's like, well, you could have went. I was like, I went over there. They wouldn't let me in. They won't let me use the bathroom in there. And then he was like, well, you can't be. I'm like, I understand what you're trying to say. I'm not doing that. And then he started, it took him probably like 10 minutes. He started calming down. He's like, well, I'm sorry. I apologize. And I'm like, bruh, but the thing is, you gotta understand, not every black person thinks like me, where you try to bring three teenage, this is the one thing that got me to what he said. He asked me how old I was. I was like, I'm 21. I shouldn't have said that. But he was like, yeah, beat them up. If they hit you back, that's a charge on them. Bruh, wow. He was putting these things in their head. And that's where I'm just like, he did all that to go to, I apologize, I was wrong. I did follow you. And I kept saying, I was like, nobody's charging after you. You following us, bruh. No, we're walking away. You've been following us for like 20 minutes. Like,
no, well, I will have to say this. To speak on the other train of thought, we're not gonna sit here and act like black people aren't predators themselves.
Oh yeah.
You know, because when I lived in the hood, I wasn't looking over some white dude. I was looking over my shoulder like, oh, what are you white dude? I was looking over my shoulder for black people.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
I mean, that's one thing we got to put in perspective too. However, you cannot sit here and say that the situation, the current situation, the social economic situation that Black people find themselves by and large today isn't a construct of the government and how this country was built from its conception.
Yeah.
Which means that there is some systemic racism interwoven into the system. Like you look at things such as redlining, where they, you know, in the past they've kept Black people out of certain
Can you break redlining down? I've
kept them
heard
to the
that,
poor neighborhood.
but I'm not sure what redlining is.
It's pretty much where they try to keep. Well, it still exists today, but it's pretty much they try to make a long story short. It's pretty much where they try to keep certain minorities out of certain neighborhoods, out of certain, you know, they do all they can. They make it so that it's harder for them. They make it so that interest rates on any loan they try to get for a house or a business is extremely high, or they just turn them away completely.
Yeah.
It's not as much of an issue as it was, you know, 10, 20, 30, 40 years ago. But, you know, to say that when Black people were free from slavery, you know, I feel like there's a lot of privileged people
Yeah.
that think that, okay, y'all free, everything's okay now, we're completely equal.
Yeah.
It's like, no, it don't work like that.
Nah.
You know, Black people weren't given the same educational resources. Their communities were historically a lot poorer than some of the whiter neighborhoods.
Yeah.
They weren't able to get loans. They wasn't able to get banks. You know, when they fought for their country, when they, you know, back in World War One and, you know, Vietnam, all those wars, when Black people came back, you know, it was hard. It was hard. It was a hard time for the country, but it was extremely hard for Black people because you still looked at as a second class citizen.
Yeah.
So for people to ignore that there's some systematic racism that plays a part into what the current socioeconomic status of, by and large, what Black people are today, I think that's definitely a dangerous and naive mentality to have.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
And
it's not just like Black people was out here just robbing and killing for no reason.
yeah.
You know.
And like,
they try to act like we're animals or something. They're like, oh, they're animals, they're criminals. George Floyd smoked a cigarette, he's a thug, or some shit like that. They try to paint these pictures. Trayvon Martin was a thug. He had a hoodie on. He's a gangster. Tamir Rice was a gangster. Why was he playing with a toy gun? Or, you know. So,
man,
I think that there's a lot of misconceptions on both sides.
Yeah.
And the farther we get to the truth and get out of what your idea of XYZ is and what actually XYZ, and then a lot of people like throw out these statistics. Oh, 70% of prison is populated by Black people, yada, yada, yada. Well, yeah, if you take into account that for the past, ever since Black people were freed of slavery, Black people have been twice as likely to get locked up for a crime that a white person does, especially when it comes to drugs.
Yeah.
Like a Black person is a lot, you know, a Black person will get a lot more jail time for having crack than a white person will for having cocaine, which technically cocaine, per parts per million, is more drug than crack, because crack is usually just stepped on. They put like baking soda, they put all type of chemicals and stuff in. So technically, you're gonna do like twice the time for having half the drug.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's
so there's a lot of things
easier
that
to
don't make
make and
sense.
stuff. That
yeah, you know. So if you look at it, there's but then at the same time, black people ain't angels. You know, like there's predators. There's people, black people. I remember walking around in East Cleveland, people walking behind you. You know, like trying to, you know how that is.
Oh yeah.
Hell, I got robbed on my lunch break in daytime in front of my job. In my car. Dude, like I rolled the window down just a little bit to smoke a cigarette. Dude stuck his arm in there with a gun to my face. Like, hey, give me your wallet. I'm like, what the?
Like,
so,
bruh.
you know,
like, come on, bruh.
You know, a lot of people say, oh, you let somebody rob. Hey, man.
Yeah.
Real people know. If you ain't from the hood if you ain't been robbed. That's a rite of passage. If you ain't been robbed, you ain't from the hood.
I was robbed at gunpoint too. Yeah.
Somebody gonna catch you laughing. Somebody gonna catch you like it. Somebody gonna catch you laughing. You in the ghetto. That happens. Somebody gonna.
And the messed up thing is,
unless you Batman, you gonna hunt them down.
Yeah. But the messed up thing is that, you know, I still remember when I got robbed and at gunpoint at a bus stop for my phone, but it really unlocked a certain paranoia, you know, that just happens. And it really sucks because I feel like a lot of different races, you know, they go through things, the same stuff that we go through, but I feel like it's such a bubble that we kind of experience things a little bit more often than others for the most part. And then they try to not acknowledge that, you know, that bubble was created from, like what you was just saying, from them, you know, from not even them, their ancestors, you know? So it's
right. And I feel like for any, I don't want to sound racist, but I feel like for any white person to say that racism don't exist or systemic racism don't exist is like, or black people need to pull themselves. They like to use the bootstrap. Pull yourself up by your bootstraps. Get out of your situation. That's like racing somebody. That's like having a race with somebody and you're on a motorcycle and they just have their feet.
Yeah.
And they're looking at you like, hey, just because I'm on a motorcycle don't mean nothing. You can still catch up. Run faster. Run. It's like you have no moral obligation to tell me to run faster.
Yeah.
Like, what are you talking about?
Like if you
were gonna tell me.
Yeah. Like if you went through any of the things that I started off with, you know, like started off with meaning like the not having the advantages about like a lot of certain things. And sometimes it just boils down to just having two parents in a household to instill certain things. Yeah. So you're a bit more knowledgeable as you get older, you know, because I feel like the one pretty sad thing is that when I was younger, I didn't even know about like careers. You know, I didn't even really know about many professions.
I knew why?
From TV.
Because black people are taught to survive, not live.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's a difference between surviving and living. Black people are taught you have to survive. If you live, if you survive, if you don't die, then you survive. You're good. You still breathing, you're good. That's the standard that has been set in place. So when it comes to like now that black people are in a situation where they have a lot more opportunities than they had back in the day, you go to school, you can get jobs, you can own land, you can own property, you can start your own businesses. The knowledge isn't there. That same knowledge that white people, you know, back in the day when they came back from fighting the wars, they bought land. The government gave them land. You know, they had infrastructure. They was able to start businesses easily. They took that business knowledge and gave that to their kids. The kids gave that to their kids, and so on and so forth. That's how they gain generational wealth. That's how they gain networking.
Yeah.
Like the wealthy families knew each other. They dated each other. They was friends. Black people, whenever it's a situation of survival, it's always me against you. We
Yeah.
have limited resources. I'm hungry, you hungry. There's only one apple. So fuck you.
Yeah.
We not about the network. I'm about me.
Yeah.
Hey, I can't afford no Jordans. I'm gonna take your Jordans.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I can't. It's all about me. There is no we. It's me.
Yeah.
You know. And the white people will tell you, not all white people, but a lot of majority of white people will tell you, it's not about us. We're not like we don't sit back and have meetings about how we gonna destroy black people or anything. It's like, you don't have to.
Yeah.
The infrastructure was set up already.
Yep.
The infrastructure is there. You don't have to. All you got to do is just sit back and get the reap the benefits.
Yeah.
Y'all don't have to have them meetings that they had back in the day. Like, man, how we gonna stop these black people?
Yeah.
You know, you look at Rosewood and all of these communities where black people they had the Black Wall Street and it was destroyed. So, but then they sit here and tell you, like, the current generation, like, oh, I never done anything to black people. We don't have meetings. I'm not in the Klan. Yada yada yada. My best friend is black. Really, that's just some dude they say hi to every now and then. They say their best friend is black. But
yep. Like, hey, what up?
Dude they say hi to every day. Hey, how's it going?
Yeah.
But yeah, the infrastructure is there. So they're blind. But see, just like how black people are blind to the fact that we are trying to survive instead of live.
Yeah.
White people are blind to their privilege of living and not having to worry about survival.
Yeah.
Because let's say if you were stranded on an island, you're not gonna be worried about like, oh, let me start a business and this, that, and the third. Let me get some employees. No.
Yeah.
Right. You're gonna be thinking about shit. I need to learn how to fish.
Yeah.
I need to find some shade.
Yeah.
You know. So
you gotta be wary of people trying to take my stuff. Like people trying to come out here. Yeah.
Right. So you just gotta Right. If you see another person, you can be like, okay, what is
Yep.
I don't know about this dude. He might try to steal my fruit or something.
And then it's like
You know?
if you don't have that it's like the same way with how animals like they get big to like try to scare you. It's like the same way we like kind of walk around mean mugging in the hood so people won't mess with you.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
It's
to the point where we idolize the criminals. We idolize the drug dealers. We praise people who went to prison, who've been shot, who sell drugs. We put them on this pedestal.
Yeah.
You know. You got your PhD?
Like that's like,
you think you better than us?
Yeah. It's like anytime.
You think you better than us? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you got you a white girlfriend or a white wife. You ain't black.
Yeah.
Somehow that makes you less black. It's like
your skin tone
is still black. Police still don't like me.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, y'all don't like me either. Nah. Yeah. It's worse.
So like, where am I at the lunch table?
Right, I get it from both sides now.
Yeah.
You know.
That's what's funny. It was just
if you ain't nobody that I don't even believe that that whole you're not black enough or pro-black if you do X, Y, Z. I'm like, if you pro-black, you can't be an American.
Yeah.
Think about it. If you're pro-black, how can you be an American and be pro-black? That don't.
Wait, break that down.
Like we don't live. Okay, let me tell you something. We don't live in an ethnocentric country. What I mean by ethnocentric country, look at China. 99% of the people there is Chinese.
Yeah,
Japan.
That's 2%.
90, whatever, there's a super high percentage of people there that's Japanese. Africa would have been that, but the British invaded Africa. They took over. We've been colonized so much, we don't even have a connection with our our country, like Mexicans. Most Mexicans still have they still have direct lineage to their culture and
Yeah.
customs from Mexico. That's one thing I noticed. Like a lot of them still speak Spanish.
Mm-hmm.
They got cousins that they know and talk to in Mexico. Black
Yeah.
people don't have that, right? Our
It's
identity was
true.
removed. You look at Mexicans, a lot of them have Mexican names.
Yeah.
Chinese people, Chinese Americans have Chinese names for the most part.
Yeah.
Black people
Whew.
have white people names. So how can you call yourself, oh, I'm pro-black? Well, go back to Africa.
Yeah.
You can't
Man.
be pro-black and be an American.
Mm-hmm.
You can't. It's impossible.
Cause
You can't be half 1 foot in, 1 foot out.
yeah.
Yeah, but I'm pro-black, but my name is Todd. It's like, what?
And this
Your
is
name is
this
Todd.
this is the thing that like I'm not even gonna lie, it bothers me a little bit, and I'm trying to figure out why this bothers me. It's great. Like I love that with the protests, there are different races that's going in there and they're speaking up and they're voicing.
Oh yeah, I see more white people out there than black people.
Exactly.
I see more black
Exactly.
people making Facebook posts and all that stuff. I see more white people out there tearing shit up.
But I feel like that's out of fear though. I feel like that's part of that is out of fear because like for me, I look at it like this. If I go down there, I'm targeted. Like I'm more likely targeted than somebody else of a different race because of everything is branching off. It all stems down to Black Lives Matter. And the reason they have that is because to America, what it seems like is Black lives don't matter. So if I'm down there screaming, Black Lives Matter, they're going to be shooting rubber bullets at my face. Like, I feel like they were throwing, like, if you saw, like, the videos of downtown, they was throwing
but it's
flashbangs.
It's funny. Yeah, it's funny now because Black Lives Matter have been around for a minute now.
Yep.
And then they were so scrutinized, you know, the years back with, I think it was, did they start with Trayvon Martin? Or I can't remember. But they were scrutinized then heavily by the media. Like, oh, we don't know. They might be terrorists. Now everybody. You know, Sony
Yeah,
said
bruh,
Black Lives Matter.
really?
The Rock said Black Lives. I didn't even know The Rock was black.
Well, he's Samoan. The Rock is Samoan.
I know. That was
But
a
yeah.
joke.
Yeah.
But you know, like if The Rock said the N word, people would be like,
yeah. Like, hold up.
We'll let Fat Joe say it, bro. We'll let Fat Joe say it, but we look at The Rock like
Rock like, nah.
we even let 6ix9ine say it. Apparently,
6ix9ine said all the air. And the thing is, everybody said it. Everybody said it.
But you got to say, but listen, you know why they get away with it? It's because they just say that shit. They just do that shit. They don't ask for permission.
Yeah.
You just got. Sometimes that's the way the stuff is. If you want something done, you just got to do that shit. Take some shit over.
Yeah.
You know.
But like, I just want to go back real
people
quick.
Start realizing with this riot, people start realizing, especially with the riot, people start really realizing, like, bro, we could really just like take some shit over if we wanted to. Yeah.
Yeah.
The people have that type of power.
Yep.
We can literally just take some shit over.
Yeah. I'll tell you this though, like I'm cool with, like, that's what I was saying, like I'm happy about, you know, races coming together, especially for this movement, and they're acknowledging what's happening, you know. But for some reason, when I see, like, I don't know what it is, like I feel like which you're gonna have people like this that they're not in it for that reason. They're in it for like some type of, I don't even know how to explain it. Their intentions, you know,
yeah,
and you can feel
it. That's the thing. That's the thing. With any movement, you're going to have outliers. But the problem with a lot of pro-black movements is the media focuses. They put a magnifying glass on the outliers. Right?
Yeah.
I've seen a video where this news reporter was actually sitting up there making a video, or he was broadcasting. They was playing fake gun noises in the background.
What?
And then one of the protesters, yeah, they was peacefully protesting. The news guy was playing like fake gun noises. They're like, "What you doing, man? You trying to turn this, make it seem like we rioting out here? We peacefully protesting."
Yeah.
And then he just got nervous, you know. Yeah, then people look at you crazy when you call people. They look at you crazy when you call them out on. You know what I'm saying? It's like the UFO guy. Oh, he's crazy. He's crazy. The UFOs don't exist. Crazy UFO guy. Then the next thing you know,
the government.
You know, the government's like, yeah, we don't know what it is. Technically, it's a UFO.
See, like we've been know about this for a long time.
Yeah, and that's just stuff they declassified. So
yeah, exactly.
You know, but everybody crazy until they see it. You have to show people, and you have to take stuff. That's the way. That's the way the world works. At least that's the way it works in America.
Yeah. Nah, this.
You know.
Man, that's why, like, you know, I feel like the best way to really, for me, as like how my mind work, I feel the best way for me to actually make some type of impact is putting myself in a position where I'm financially free, where I'm not caring about, when I say financially free, I don't mean being rich. You know, I don't mean.
Right, I thought I was about to say that.
Yeah, like I don't mean anything like that.
Because they say Jeff Bezos is like the wealthiest man in the world.
Yeah.
They said, I think they say he might be he's on par to be the first. That's the Amazon guy. He's on the path to become the world's first trillionaire, last I checked.
It makes sense.
And he's worth.
You ever been to Whole Foods?
Now a lot of his but here's the thing.
Yeah.
A lot of his net worth is like secure. A lot of his money goes to like security and all of that. His net is probably high, but not nearly as high as you think. Yeah, like what he's worth.
Yeah.
You know, if you look at all his assets, security, and all of that stuff, the infrastructure behind Amazon, it's definitely up in the high billions. But what he nets out of that is nowhere
crazy.
near that. So,
man.
Yeah. I mean,
because like
now his wife, his ex-wife, on the other hand, yeah, she good.
Yeah, oh yeah, she ain't going nowhere. Right, she's straight.
Yeah, she good.
But like, I was just saying,
being rich, I feel like.
No, I was just saying, like, what I mean by like financially free is your actions aren't dictated by money. So like,
right,
the stuff that you want to do, you can do it, and money is just the tool that you use. And it's like, it's more for like survival and entertainment. You know, it's not necessarily something where your emotions are dictated by how much money you have or things like that. Because I feel once you're able to get to a place where you can build something, you can give back, you know, and you can build up certain things with other people because they can. Because I feel like the one thing that I'm starting to notice, like with a lot of, like especially with artists and stuff, is that they don't know, like they think their way out is just grinding, doing OT all the time, and playing basketball and making music. It's like that's not what it is. That's like a super long shot. Like that's a super.
Yeah, that's. I give you a better analogy. That's like a hamster on one of them little spinning things, right?
Yeah.
The guinea pig on little spinning wheel things, thinking if they move faster, they gonna get somewhere.
Yep. That's where I was at.
I just move faster.
Yep. You just getting tired. Just getting worn down.
Getting nowhere fast, right?
Yep.
So, yeah, I look at it like I think the American dream is to not be is to not have a boss. I think that is the American dream.
Yeah.
In whatever capacity that is for you.
Yeah.
Whatever capacity that is for you.
Mm-hmm.
Because that may mean different things for different people.
Yep.
Because, you know, especially if you look at like a lot of the immigrants that come over here, you know, they come over here and they start up businesses, and, you know, they'll hire their whole family.
Yeah.
Their whole family has a job. Their whole family. So it's not like when you go to work, like when most people go to work, and this is something I had to explain to my wife, you know, when you have a job, people don't care about you.
Yeah.
They don't care.
Nah.
They don't care about your well-being.
Nope.
They don't give.
Can you come in?
They don't care.
We want you to. You gotta come in.
Can you come in? Can you come in?
Yep. Like I don't have to come in.
What a lot of these immigrants do, a lot of these immigrants, they come over here, they start up a business, and then they slowly start bringing their family members in, hiring all their family members. They are building generational wealth from that, because it's like, okay, I own this pawn shop.
Yeah.
You know, I'm teaching my son how to run a pawn shop. When I get old, he gonna take over.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of like not having a boss either, because you're building something, and you're building generational wealth from your family. Even though you may not ever become rich, you got a steady stream of income. You got money coming in. You know what I'm saying? Like, you teaching your kids at the same time to be bosses at a young age.
Yeah.
So,
because you are like we aren't meant to be employees. You know, I feel like this is the one thing that really made me think about, like, especially when I started reading you know, Rich Dad Poor Dad and Cash Flow Quadrant, like those books. It really just it confirmed a lot of things that I was already thinking, but it led me down the path that I needed to be on. You know, because I really always felt that being an employee, especially over the past like 4 or 5 years, like being an employee, that's like slavery. Like there is, like, you're working for someone so they can build towards their future.
But
like,
you know,
you're just constantly helping somebody.
I disagree with you, because you know the crazy thing is, some people need that.
That's true.
People, I'm gonna tell you something. There are some people who are highly analytical, like computer science. They can rewire whatever. They can super high analytical people, but they like things a certain way.
Yeah,
they're not like, they don't have leadership qualities. They don't have really a lot of creativity. So if they get a job, a lot of them like, man, I just want a job where I can just do this all day. That's heaven for them. I don't want to talk to nobody. I just want to. That's heaven for them. But the problem is, you got a lot of creative people that put themselves in analytical jobs, and they feel like, you know, why am I so unsuccessful at this? No, you're not meant for that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You're meant for the broadening things. You're not meant for sitting at a computer, data entry type stuff.
Yeah.
There's certain analytical, and those are people who need to have jobs.
Yeah.
And they'll do really well at jobs, really well, and be happy sitting at a computer screen doing analytical stuff all the time. Whereas creative people, they will suffer for years and years working a job.
Yeah.
And they'll think, man, maybe I'm just bad at jobs. No, it's not that you're bad at jobs. You're more on the creative spectrum. There's a lot of things that you can do really well, and you're limiting yourself. You're limiting yourself to a job because society tells you, or you believe that, if I go to school or whatever, I can get a good job and make good money. You're putting yourself in a box that you're a circle trying to put yourself in a square peg.
Yeah.
And you keep trying to squeeze yourself in this square peg, You see what I'm saying? You're a cylinder trying to put yourself in this square peg, and everybody keeps, and then everybody keep telling you, hey, just get in there, get in there.
Yeah.
You're just like, I'm not a square.
It's like, yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
you're not meant for that.
No pun intended. I'm not a square. Yeah, I'm not a square like y'all. You know?
Because
No
the
pun
one
intended,
thing
so.
I would say too is that personally, I feel like I'm in a position where it feels like I know exactly what you mean, and I feel like I'm a creative, but I feel like I don't necessarily specialize in certain things. I feel like my talent is maybe being able to be a like a what's it like, you know, those pocket knives that got all that stuff to it. You know,
Swiss
got like
Army,
a
Swiss Army
thing.
knife.
Yeah, Swiss Army knife. I feel like I'm more like that, but it feels like I have to build a system where I can be useful in. And that's where I'm struggling. And I'm trying to and that's where I'm gaining the knowledge in and figure out how to build it, because I have to build it so I can properly place myself. You know?
Right.
So it's, and that's where I feel like it's, because there's so many levels.
There's levels, and everything is not meant to happen overnight.
Yeah.
Nor do you want it to happen overnight.
True.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I look at myself like, man, if I hit the lottery back when I was 18 for like millions, I'd probably be dead. I probably wouldn't be alive today. So in some way, I have to thank God that I never hit the lottery when I was 21, 18.
Because it's so many, like,
some things you have to go through certain you have to go through those growing pains of learning, especially with money. With money, I've made so much mistakes with money. You know, and that's a lot of problem with a lot of these drug dealers out there. You know, they make money, they have a lot of money, then they lose it all. They have a lot of money, then they lose it all. It's like, man, you ain't putting none of that money away. Then you go to jail. Then you can't get a job. Then you can't vote. Then it's like, you could have did something with that money. You could have invested it, opened it up. You could have washed it, laundered it, put it into like a laundry mat, a daycare. You know what I'm saying?
Opened up something. I mean,
yeah. Hell, you could have invested some of that money, but
true.
People, it ain't. That's why I believe it's not about how much money you make; it's what you do with it.
Yeah, and how much you keep.
You want to start up a business? Yeah. Because the main thing is finding ways to get multiple streams of income coming in. That's the main. Yeah. That's how you become self-sufficient. I think that's what you're looking for. You want to have the freedom to do what you want. So what you need is you need to set up multiple streams of income. So that way you got multiple sources of money coming in from whatever, right? That way that frees you up to build the infrastructure, if it's not already built, for what it is you want to do. Because if you try to do that working a job, a 9 to 5, you know, you have to work more hours to make more money.
Yeah.
And working all those hours is going to keep you away from, or at least slow you down, impede you from building infrastructure of what it is whatever it is you're trying to create.
Yeah.
So I think
it's like, I feel that no, you're right. Like, it's completely that. And I feel like I've been trying to balance out that patience with effectiveness. You know, where like I was reading the book that was talking about how you should do everything at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Because you say do everything at the same time, but not rush it. Yeah. You know, if something's being slowed down, go back, and not even go back, but just work on one thing, keep working on stuff, just keep moving. Yeah. And because by that time you'll all, like when you look at it, you'll have everything set up, you know, and then it's just different layers. But I wonder how long we've been going.
Oh, we've been going for like at least an hour.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, let's try to wrap this up real quick.
Yeah, try to wrap it up.
Yeah.
The first episode of the I guess we'll name it when we get the name.
Yeah. Oh, we have a name. Like there's been like shows that been running for years that didn't even have a name. I don't even know how they did that. That's
right.
But yeah, like, but I do want to talk about the stuff that, you know, that we will be talking about more, because we just wanted to, you know, address what's going on right now, especially just with how it's affecting everybody.
Yeah.
Perspectives.
Yeah, I know people gonna be saying, "Oh, I don't like the one guy. He's too preachy and all of this." I'm not gonna be preaching all the time. I talk a lot of bullshit. I'm a bullshitter.
But no, I feel like it's a good balance though, because you know we all need to show those different sides of ourselves. Like, even though I don't even think it's
right. And I don't want people. I just want to throw a caveat out there. I don't want people thinking that I think I know it all, because I don't. I don't know nothing. I'm just going through this world just as blind as the rest of y'all.
Same here.
Especially for the people that's younger than me, I just made it a little bit farther in distance wise.
Yeah.
So, you know, I mean,
that's what it's about.
I may know a little bit. You know. So
but that's what it's about though, because like for me,
I just give you my perspective on things.
Yeah. Because, you know, like for me, it's more of a learning, like a lot, like every day, just trying to figure out how to just like I'll say this, like right when I stopped doing, I retired from music, I've been able to, that pressure kind of turned off. And now it's like I'm living and I'm thinking a lot more clearly, especially about the future. Like before, I'm
putting you on the spot. I'm putting you on the spot.
What's up?
Putting you on the spot.
What's up?
Is you coming out with another album? Is there another album coming? Is there another music video coming? We ain't seen that Summer Waits video. What's going on? You know what? Don't answer. Say that for next episode.
Okay.
Don't answer. Say that for next episode. We gotta leave them on the cliffhanger.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm with that. That'll come next episode. Yeah, we'll talk about that. We'll open up with that.
Yeah.
We'll open up with that.
Right. We'll open up with
it. Well, yeah, so it was, thank you guys for watching. This is episode 1. And yeah, you know, this is a good like test. Good testing.
Yeah. Yep.
But all right, man, I'll catch you next time. Catch up with you, see what's going on.
Yep. All right.
All right.
Peace out.